If I weren't an educator, I would be a writer or a poet. When I graduated from college, I had an English degree with a minor in creative writing and poetry. Back in college, I really liked the poetry of Theodore Roethke, and he actually came from University of Washington, so it was really great to be able to read his poems. They were filled with rich imagery, a lot of sensual details, and it was fabulous always reading sort of what his thoughts were. Oh my gosh, middle school, those years. So one thing to know about me is in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, I went to 3 different schools. So I didn't have very much of a chance to get involved in a lot of activities at the schools. Academics were my constant. And so I threw myself into all of my classes, got straight A's. I actually was pretty competitive. So in 7th grade, my big claim to fame was that I won the 7th grade spelling bee in our town, where I competed against other schools representing my junior high. And that was a real big treat. My winning word was amphibian, which probably foreshadowed me going into science as a teacher. This was a hard question for me to figure out who I would want to chat with. When I was younger, I probably would have picked someone like Isabel Allende, the writer, or Pablo Neruda, the poet. But these days, at my current age, I'm actually kind of interested in meeting Michelle Yeoh, who is Malaysian superstar actor, martial artist, did her own stunts, fierce in spirit, and incredibly talented. She was most recently in Shang-Chi, and she was also in her own starring movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Gosh, I used many, many quotes and mantras depending upon how I'm feeling on a certain day or what I'm entering into, but there is one quote that I go back to a lot since I've started working at University Prep, and it's actually some advice that was given to me by my skating coach. She once told me she was watching me skate, she said, "Don't scrub your speed, woo." And I thought, I need to remember that. And I oftentimes turn to that mantra so that I make sure that I don't hold myself back. I oftentimes tend to overthink things, and sometimes I second guess myself. So a lot of times I look at that, I write that on my board, and I look at it on my board every day and remind myself, it's okay, face your fear, go with it, and don't scrub your speed. What excites me as a former science teacher are the labs and experiments. Those were always the most fun to set up, to do with students, and to see what would happen. I loved them when I was a student as well. But really for me, I think I carry being a science teacher with me in a lot of areas of my life. I ask a lot of questions, to myself. I observe, I come up with data and patterns and gather information to be able to come up with conclusions. So it is kind of very embedded in me. And I think experiments are just a really cool way of sort of seeing that, exploring some questions. One of the best things that I did was my 11-year-old daughter wanted to go to all of the different boba places around the university district. So we actually used the Boba Fest UW map, and we scouted out all of these different boba places. We're still in the middle of it. There are 18 of them. We have been to 7 so far this summer. We've had a ball being able to order boba tea together.